Turning now to the White House, where President Trump is set to hold separate phone calls today with the leaders of Russia and Ukraine. He's trying to secure a ceasefire between the two countries after talks in Turkey last week failed to produce results. Ahead of today's phone calls, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy met with Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio over the weekend. They were all in Rome for Pope Leo XIV's inaugural Mass. Zelenskyy says he reaffirmed his country's commitment to a full and unconditional ceasefire and underscored the need for what he called real diplomacy. Secretary Rubio spoke with Margaret Brennan on Face the Nation yesterday. He said he believes a meeting between Trump and Putin is the only way to move things forward.
We don't want to be involved in this process of just endless talks. There has to be some progress, some movement forward. Ultimately, one of the things that could help break this logjam, perhaps the only thing that can, is a direct conversation between President Trump and Vladimir Putin.
And for more on this, I want to bring in CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand, who's following developments from the White House. Natalie, thanks so much for joining us. What can you tell us about the president's expected phone calls today?
Good morning, Michael. Well, we know from a social media post over the weekend that this phone call between President Trump and Russian President Putin is expected to take place at 10 a.m. today. And then later, after that call, he's expected to talk to Ukraine's President Zelenskyy. The president saying he's hoping that it's going to be a productive day as the U.S. tries to help broker a ceasefire. This call also comes just days after those direct talks between Russia and Ukraine in Turkey late last week. But as you know, Michael, Putin did not show up. As a result, Zelenskyy said he wasn't going. However, Secretary of State Rubio did note in that interview with Margaret Brennan that one of the results of those talks was both sides agreeing to come up with a document detailing their vision of a potential ceasefire and the conditions around that. And so Secretary Rubio essentially said one sign of progress will be if those documents produced by the two sides detail a rational and realistic vision. That's what everyone will be waiting to see.
Now, Natalie, has there been any movement on a possible face-to-face meeting between Presidents Trump and Putin?
Well, we know last week when President Trump was in the Middle East, he noted repeatedly that he thinks nothing will really happen until he speaks or meets with Putin. So we'll have to see where this phone call today leads. But the president indicating that he wanted to meet with the Russian president as soon as the two sides could make that possible logistically. We also know that the Vatican could be one potential location, the Holy See noting that it wants to help advance peace talks, end this war. And so that would be one place where the two sides could potentially come together as these talks continue.
All right, Natalie Brand reporting at the White House. Thanks.